Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, having an unboxing. It's a very special unboxing because this is a watch that I and a group of 50 other people have been working on for about the last year and a half with some of the top watchmakers in Switzerland. I mean, there are many times when we wondered whether this project could ever get done. And the way it turned out, we're just beside ourselves. We really like it. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, the first thing was everything came by, or the watch that I got came by FedEx. This is a watch that I'm taking to New York to the Watch Time show this weekend. And then as soon as I'm finished with that, I have to take it to the Horological Society of New York for the chronometer testing. And they'll have it for 15 days testing the chronometer. So early tests indicate that it wasn't made for passing the chronometer test, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Anyway, first story is that with FedEx, something put it in limbo. And it always freaks me out when this happens. And going through this maze that FedEx has, until you get the right number, it's impossible to find out why your watch was held up. But I finally got to the right people, and I can't say enough good about them. They really helped me out. They got my watch to me on time so I can take it to Watch Time show. We're leaving tomorrow. Anyway, so I got this big box right. I mean, it was like I've been waiting so long for this. So anyway, I opened it up, and there was all this popcorn in there with it. And inside of that box, there was this long box. Figured that something good's got to come out of that. And then I opened that up, and there was more padding. And one of the things that was really interesting, there was this long piece of styrofoam, and inside of it was the watch that was laid out. Great protection. The guy that did the shipping and everything for us, he just does great work. That's all I can say. So anyway, so I keep going, and there it was in piece of plastic, and I took it out of there. There was one of those sticky wrappers around it to protect it, and I still can't get over it. I haven't taken it off since I've had it. And it's just this wonderful watch. It's not convoluted. It's done by every step of the way. We had top people. Now, when we started, God, I think it's about a year and a half ago, when we first got started, we didn't know anything. We thought we did. I mean, a bunch of collectors here, some really sophisticated watches, and we figured we knew everything. We didn't know jack, but what we did, fortunately, we did start with the right company. We started with a company called Agonar. They had made movements. They were primarily a movement or a module maker, and they had won some of the most Grand Prix awards of anyone, or at least the watches and their movements won the awards. So, that was who we started with. And the first thing they did was that we talked about what we wanted, and they created a brand new movement for us. This was called the AGH 6801. I made a mouse pad with a picture of it. And we started with the picture, and what we ended up with looked a lot like the picture. It's really a fabulous movement, and I'll tell you more about it as we further go on. Now, in looking at the back of it, there's a company called Protexo. By the way, too, companies that we hadn't thought of or we didn't know anything about, we would ask the people in Geneva, and they'd say, "Well, we know these guys; these are good." Just for example, a buckle, a company called, oh boy, starts with the Beaujolais, something like that. I'm sorry I mispronounced it so badly. But we went through, they made the buckle for us. We wanted some teardrops. They made it into a teardrop shaped buckle, and then they put our name on it, which was Lyrique, which we were very happy about. Then we went to Protexo, is the name of the strap maker, and they put our name on it too, and made straps. Now the straps were really special, primarily in the color. The color of the hands were sort of like a burgundy, and we used a Pantone color code. Well, we told them, or we told our designer, there's another thing, if you ever go into this, get a designer. We had one of the best, a guy named Mathieu Allegre, great designer. So anyway, told him, and so he went and talked to the people who were making the strap for us, and they got a perfect match between the color of the hands and the strap. And I know it sounds like a little thing, but one of the things that we found out, that people at this level, you really work with top level people, you get really top stuff. So now here's the dial itself. We started, a company called Metalim did the dial, and we got Metalim. What we did, we started with Philippe Dufour's, it's called Simplicity 37. And we looked at that and we said, gee, we like the looks of that. And on it said Metalim. And there was a little article I read, and Philippe Dufour said, I didn't do anything of the dial. They're the ones that did it, so they can, leave their name on it. So you find some Philippe Dufour watches. They're pretty good watches. And then we found, that was how we found the dial maker. Well, we worked with them, and then they were sort of what we called our North Star. We wanted to take the Simplicity 37 and sort of push it. Now, it had Roman numerals. We wanted Arabic numbers. And so our designer created a font set, which really amazing. And then we had the subdial, and the subdial we wanted it set at 8:30. We wanted something a little different. They said, well, 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We said, well, we want something a little off, a little sort of like a little beauty mark position. And so that's what they did. Now, we also, in terms of clipping any of the numbers, we thought, well, yeah, we'll just clip the numbers. And so all that's left of the 8 is this little bump down at the bottom. And that's sort of fun. I mean, it makes it, obsessive compulsive, it will drive crazy. We know that. And we have some of the guys, we had to calm them down, but they're okay now with it. The hands are called observatory hands. Now, there was Derek Pratt, was a famous watchmaker who was a friend of George Daniels, and they used to do stuff together, and they communicated a lot and traded ideas and so forth. And he was working for Urban Jurgensen, and he made some hands for observatory hands. And I think the observatory hands came from the observatories where they did the big clocks that they had on observatories. And the reason I liked it is that at a glance, there's no question which one's the hour hand or which one's the minute hand. You just bip, and it's no thinking required. And then, of course, they have a complementary hand for the second hand. The name of the company that made the hands for us was named Fiedler. We didn't know about them. We learned about them. Turned out they're one of the best watchmakers in the world, if not the best. Really incredible. They made the hands exactly like we wanted them. Underneath the second hand is what's called an Agonese gear. The Agonese gear, if you look at this picture, on this picture it'd be over by what looks like 3 o'clock and just go in a little, and you'll see there's somewhat of a gear there. That's an Agony's gear, and the gear has these little springs, and so you don't get the backsliding and some of the other things that you get when you have what are called eccentric hands or functions like we have with our small seconds. And it's really fun to look at the way it works. You see this thing, and it just perfectly goes around. Up there about 12 o'clock, that sort of that funny looking thing with it looks like a little skeletonized something or other. That's an Agon pit regulator, and this is a regulator that was designed by Jean-Marc Viderec, and it's both that and the Agonés are what they call intellectual properties, and he's the only one who can use them. We didn't ask for either one of these, but we would love to have them because the reason we didn't ask, we thought we'd go broke trying to get something that nice, and they put it in there anyway without our asking. Just really cool. Now, there are a lot of other things around there. One of the things that we had wanted to do was that as collectors, a lot of us have been really upset that we didn't really have all the information. We'd get partial information about what was in it, who made this, who made that, who made the movement, what base was in it. We wanted to have everything. Our base movement is by Agonor. The 6801, our movement is by Agonor. The whole thing is by Agonor. There's nothing else in there. And so we said, well, put it on the back. And so they have down there around the barrel gear, you can see it says caliber Agonor. And then it's adjusted to 6 positions, and then it has over to the side there 16 rubies. Now, the case we wanted done by Voutilanen and Caton. And so we wanted them to put it on there. We wanted to have something. Look, these are all quality parts. Why not let people know rather than using sub-quality parts and not telling anybody? So anyway, this is very much of a made in Switzerland watch that we had. Now, one of the interesting things is the designer. We listened to the designer. We didn't go along with everything everybody said. It wasn't like a Wild West show. But we found this incredible talent. And so we got he designed the case for us. And when we got it, it had we told him we wanted teardrop lugs on it. And rather than just putting on regular teardrop lugs, he designed what looks like a belt. And it's a teardrop belt. At each end of it is a teardrop lug. On the top, it's interrupted by the crown, of course, and the stem. And then on the bottom, it just goes around. And it's something that is fun, interesting, and we're happy we have it. Finally, when we put it to bed, we got its own. We have its own special little case. Now, this case, one of our guys found it for us. We got 50 of us, so 51 of us really. And so they had this case that we got. This is made in Switzerland too. And we just put the watch around it like that and put it down. And so we have this nice little case that protects the watch. It doesn't weigh a ton. And it has Lurique on it. Anyway, at another time, I'll go into more detail about this and how we did it and all of everything else. But in the meantime, we got our watch. And if you're going to be at the Watch Time show, look me up and I'll show it to you. Take care. Opportunity to subscribe if you like. And Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the Art and Science of Watch Collection.